Okay.
There you go.
So I'd like to call the Dover Select Board meeting to order at 6:31 on July 6, 2021. First order of business is public comments. Do we have any public comments? Yes.
I have a question. I live at, I own a place at 18 Bluebrook Road between Hathaway Trail, and the Hathaway Trail was resurfaced last year, and now the water is cascading onto my property, and it's eating away, it's creating a culvert, so I don't know how do I deal with this? Whose responsibility is that?
Can you give us your name
Sure, my name is Mark Kudlasik, Kudlasik.
for the record?
Travis.
I think,
I'm sorry, could you spell that again? K-U-D?
K-U-D.
Yep.
L-A-C-I-K. And it's 18 Bluebrook Road, so it's kind of right between where Hathaway Trail and Bluebrook Road are. So our backyard abuts the trail, and I've had the property for 22 years with no problems. And last fall, somebody was regrading Hathaway Trail, and now I've got a problem.
okay. We can have Travis's our road commissioner look at it.
Okay.
I'm guessing it was the stump jumpers who regraded. I don't believe it was us. But that doesn't matter. It's a town trail, so
It's
If Hathaway was.
it's,
Hathaway's a town trail, but I don't think it's too much town. And I remember
Maintenance.
years ago that I'm just thinking, and they did some work on it, but we didn't do the work on it.
we don't normally do that, but let's start with our road commissioner.
He'll be the-
He's a good person to start with, and then maybe we can find out, see what's going on, and maybe we can get it corrected, through either, I'm guessing it was the stump jumpers, or, trails, or the town. If we can start investigating, so.
First stop would be Travis.
Right, so, Jeanette, will you reach out, I don't think Travis is on, and
I don't see him.
have him, go up, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there all week, so.
Okay.
This week, that week.
Perfect, no, perfect, and, I'm sorry about the situation.
You know what? This is the worst thing that's
Okay.
happened in 22 years having a place up here. Life is good.
Thank you.
Nice.
Dana, did you have a question or a comment?
I do, actually. It's more of a question. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
So, and I don't know if this is the right place. So I always observe the speed limit on Route 100 from Dover Green because I have friends that live there and it's a bad turn. It's 25 miles an hour past, Twice Blessed past Snow Republic. Over the weekend, I'm driving with my 2 children to the Creamy, and a car that was parked, basically there's cars bumper to bumper from Twice Blessed all the way to the end of, I'm sorry, I almost said COVID Republic, Snow Republic. I know it's horrible. I'm sorry. So I assume some half-drunk person just pulled out in front of me. They caused me to swerve over the double yellow line. I thank God that nobody was coming towards me because, again, I have my children in the car. We're going to get ice cream. What can I do as a resident, as the secretary of the Planning Commission, as a mom with 2 young children? What can I do to address this? I didn't call the police. I don't think it's a criminal issue. The people the management there is very unprofessional, for lack of a better term. What can I do? What can we do?
Randy, do you have any thoughts?
So, forgive me, I missed maybe part of the first conversation, part of it. So you pulled out of the...
Dana, the person talking is Randy Johnson, just so you know, because he's not on camera.
I'm driving on Route 100. I have my kids in the car. It's actually raining a little bit. We didn't know if the Creamy was open, but we went for it, and they were. And a car, I don't know if they didn't look. They certainly didn't put a blinker on. They just pulled right out from, they were parked on the, basically right off the highway. The highway. Like I said, I'm thankful that there was nobody coming in the oncoming traffic because I had to just swerve around them to not get hit. It scared me so bad. I'm sure it's not the first time it's happened, but
Yeah. Well, we have no parking signs that are gonna be around
They're in.
all of those
They're
corners.
there.
They're up.
They're up already?
They're up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see that,
I haven't noticed it either.
Yeah.
They're
yeah,
there.
already. So, and people are still parking along
parking
Route
on
On the
100?
grass.
Well, they're pulling all the way onto the
On
grass.
I took a video. I'm sorry I can't be there tonight. It's my youngest's birthday. I ran downstairs to jump on quickly. Yeah, on the way home I took a video because they're there.
Okay, so, what you can do is give us, when you have something like that, call the police department anyway. And if you can get a plate number of the vehicle, because if they are pulling out and they're, say, near a bar or an establishment or something like that, we can always, try to look through the vehicle just to make sure they're not drunk or there's not other issues going on. So I would highly recommend that anytime you have an issue, don't ever hesitate to call the police department. That's what we're there for. And that way we can look into it just to make sure that, there's nothing else going on. Yeah, and if they were parked on the side of the road, especially now that like Sarah was saying, that the no parking signs are up. I wasn't aware that they got put up yet. I'll go down tomorrow and just pay attention and look. But I'll have my staff still keep an eye on that. And yeah, they're not supposed to be parked on the side of the road. So if you see that they are, even if anybody does, they can always call us and we can go down and deal with that. But I mean, if you said you have a video, if you have a video of not the incident when it happened, but after, where you were coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you still happen to know the plate number, you can still reach out to us. We can check into it.
So
It
this
happened,
is,
it happened so fast.
Hold on.
It happened so fast. It really scared me. I didn't even think to get the plate number. Again, it was like melee, and I'm sure they were drinking. They don't go to the bar to eat.
Joe?
so Randy, it's the weekend. There's no one at the police station. You can't call the police station. You have to call 911.
She can still call 2020 because that number, when nobody is
Gotcha.
there, that.
All right, just explain that.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
she would leave it. Can you explain
Yeah,
that a little
so,
bit better
yeah,
for the
you can
record?
still dial, well, either the 911, that's obviously quicker, or you can just dial the 464-2020 number, which is the police department's number. And that number is always answered 24 hours a day, whether or not anybody's in the office or not, because we dispatch to the state police when my admin's not there. And then they can get a hold of us over the radio, so.
I was just hesitant because
That would be a better way.
it wasn't an emergency. I'm not a cop caller. I didn't want to call the police for a parking issue, but I'm sure that there's a local tow company that would love the business.
Yeah, there is. We know a couple. But, yeah. No, so yeah, if you see it, don't ever hesitate to call, no matter, what it is. That's what we're there for. So,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
I didn't want to go in there and say anything to anybody. I didn't want to call the police. I figured you guys are here on Tuesday, and so thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Okay. And so Randy, will you keep us posted on the parking along that area?
Yeah, I'm gonna-
Because this is new. They must have just put them up this past weekend or.
What I
end of
noticed
last
was-
week. A couple of
Yeah.
weeks.
What I noticed was that people were parking, they weren't at all on the paved
They're on
area,
the
they were
grass.
all the way onto the grass, and I think that they interpreted that as being a parking space.
Randy?
So, yeah, when they are on the grass, then that is a little bit different because now they're kind of like off the shoulder and out of the right of way, maybe more on their property. So each situation would be different because it's like how much are they on and off? And
Or are they on twice blessed property?
Exactly. So we would have to, go down and in each scenario, each situation would have to get handled, differently.
Okay,
Yeah. No, I will go down tomorrow and look at the signs and take a look at everything.
thank you.
Yeah.
Linda?
Just wanted to let you know the grand list was lodged today, and I don't have the numbers with me, but I believe added roughly 28 million to the grand list. So,
Yeah, and we received notification of our education tax rates, and I'm confused whether these rates are, with us being, we are in the penalty box, but the penalty box is supposed to be waived this year and next year. And if this is not the case, the education homestead rate went up 11 cents. So that's a huge increase. This came from the Vermont Department of Taxes. The non-homestead is up about 6 cents, but 11 cents. So I need clarification whether this, because of the budget that was voted at the River Valley School District meeting, which included penalty box, if this has been clawed back out or it's still in there. So anyway, that was interesting news. I know Mark will get that too. What else do we have for comments? Anybody? Under public comments, we have received a letter from the Wilmington Old Home Week asking us if we'd like to have a float. We are obviously sponsoring a major band. So I don't know if the town of Dover, Dover School, anybody wants to do it, but there are float applications out there. I think the deadline is the 20th of July. And I asked, Eric, have we ordered a banner for our like sponsored, brought to you by the town of Dover? Can we do that?
We have not yet, but we will have one by the time the parade is here.
Then we need 2 people to carry it. Thank you. Okay. All right. We're going to move on from public comments now. Unfinished business, the amended contracted consultant agreement. Linda provided this to us. Did everybody have a chance to look at it?
Yes, I think I did, yeah.
It's an amendment between the contracted consultant, Linda Kirsten, and the town of Dover to extend the original agreement dated March 17th, 2021. This is on an as-needed basis at the rate of $40 per hour, not to exceed 20 hours per week. The contract will expire November 15th, 2021. So if we are in agreement to extend Linda Kirsten's contracted work with us, we need a motion.
I make a motion that we authorize Vicki Capitani to sign the amendment, the addendum to the contracted consultant contract.
It would just been nice why we're keeping her on.
I thought that was discussed at the last meeting.
Right, it would be nice if it was in the contract.
Oh.
Why she's staying on. She's staying on to help you with commercial properties, correct? More or less.
More or less.
Yeah, well, it would just be nice if it was in there, why, so that if anyone had any questions.
20 years
why.
from now, we can find out.
Well, it's in the minutes.
I'm just
and
saying.
It's definitely in the minutes.
I'd like
It's,
to be a little more, that's all, whatever. Don't matter to me.
but I haven't had a second, so nothing's gonna happen. with this.
Second.
Thank you, Joe. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to the library sign ideas. Who's bringing these to us? Jeanette?
Well, it was discussed last time that you were going to bring together ideas of what you wanted to put on the sign and then go to the sign maker and see if that was doable.
I thought
At
Scott was
least I
going to do
thought
that.
that was what.
So Scott was
But Scott
spearheading this.
obviously was not here,
So at this point, we're gonna have to
Table it till next
table
time.
it again. New business, consider town nepotism policy. So we have a letter from Laura Sibilia asking us to create a nepotism policy. Is Laura with us tonight?
Yeah, she's behind Tabby.
Oh, sorry, I missed you.
snuck in.
Did you just come in? Laura, do you want to say anything about this?
Following up on the letter that I sent you, seeing the select board support the creation of a policy.
Can't hear her.
Nepotism policy.
Hold on. Can you speak up a little? Dan's having difficulty, so probably others are.
So I'm following up on the letter that I sent to the select board at the end of June, asking you to support the creation of a nepotism policy for the police department, I think it's really important for the department, for the town, and I just wanted to make sure I came to follow up if the board had any questions, or if I could be of any assistance in explaining more about that. But I think I was pretty thorough in the letters.
So I'm speaking for myself right now, but I think if we create a policy, it will cover all departments, all employees, all elected officials, all volunteers on committees, and we already do have a conflict of interest policy. So I think that, I'd like to look at that first and see. It hasn't been updated. It's 14 years old. Frankly, I wasn't even aware we had this. It was signed last July 31st, 2007. So we do have it. It's fairly comprehensive, and I think it's something that we can probably craft to address these concerns, maybe. Do other board members have anything to say about it?
I read the existing policy, and I think there are some kind of holes in it that we certainly need to address. But the more I've read different policies, the more nepotism is really a subset of conflict of interest. And so if you have a robust and thorough conflict of interest policy, it's going to automatically cover anything having to do with nepotism.
That's great. You guys
You got it?
Dan?
We talked about it, but that there's nothing specific in that conflict resolution thing. It's just, as I read, it's about as vague as whatever. So we need to establish something in what Laura is saying, or not establish something. So we do need to look at it, like you said. But that document is, in my opinion, useless. That's my opinion.
Useless.
Okay.
So are you saying that it's something that we should not readopt?
No, we can readopt it, but it needs some work.
Some work, yes.
Definitely needs some work. But
Agreed.
it's useless, in my opinion.
Dan, do you have anything to say about it?
Yeah, earlier when I was first appointed here, Chris Cady comes in my coffee shop often. I asked him about that and conflict of interest as well as nepotism. And he said, you'd have nobody working here because it's a small town. And the fact that, I think someone like Randy or Travis, they hire people because they need people to do the work. So, I don't see the conflict. To me, like Mario Cuomo once hired his son, the Attorney General, and that's real nepotism, father to son. And he said, well, first of all, the father's supposed to take care of his kids. Otherwise, he would be badly looked upon. But he said, find somebody that's as qualified or more qualified than my son, and I'll hire him. And of course, nobody sent him anything. So he became the Attorney General for the state. So I don't know where you go with this, because, we have a small town. We have wonderful people who work for us, and I could care less if they're related personally.
Randy?
So, yeah, and I have a bunch of stuff written down, so I'm only going to say a few things. One, I don't believe nepotism policy is needed. We've never had one, we've never had an issue before, and my concern is why all of a sudden now, at this moment, in this time. We've had past employees, never had an issue 7.5 years ago, never had an issue, but now it's an issue. So, why? There is that conflict of interest, like you said. The police department has some. If it's a town-wide policy, I will support it. If it's specific towards the police department, I will not. And I will end my conversation there, and someone can know why.
Sarah?
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I speak for us when I say that what we're looking at is that the town policy, not the police department policy, but that the town policy, while it exists, there are definitely deficiencies in it. And so the board is going to take that on and correct that. But it will be a policy for the town.
And I will support if it's based on a town policy where all departments and not specific towards the police department and/or any other at that point department.
Yes.
And I just wanted to clarify, having a conflict of interest policy or a nepotism policy doesn't mean that people who are friends or who are related can't work together. It just outlines the procedure under which that can happen so that there's clarity and so that there's understanding. So it's not a question of Randy can't hire Taya to work for the police department, but there's a procedure through which he would be able to do that. And that that the board would create a policy that would allow that to happen in a responsible way. That's all that is.
Something that's been going on like 40 years, so which has been a change and hasn't been an issue, so.
But as I said,
Yeah, we're good.
Are there any other comments about this? Thank you for bringing it to our attention, Laura, and we will be working on updating our conflict of interest policy.
You are welcome. And if I can be of assistance in that, I would very much like to offer my services. I appreciate you taking it seriously. I think it's a serious issue, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
I think we're good. We have VLCT, we have our attorneys, we have a lot of capable people working for, so I think we're okay. Thank you.
Thanks,
Really
Laura.
appreciate the
Thank you. Okie dokie, let me rearrange
use
my...
of town hall.
Oh, yes, but I want to get it in front of me.
Yes.
I have too many pieces of
You
paper.
have too much paper.
Yes. We are moving on to consider the use of the town hall for DVFiber Communication Committee. And Diane McCormick is here. She's one who is asking for the use of the town hall, so maybe you could talk to this briefly.
So, my name is Diane McCormick. I'm Chair of Communications for DVFiber. I was appointed to this role by the Select Board. In order to fulfill public meeting rules now, we've been on Zoom for the last year, as everybody has with no problem, but now we have to adhere to public meeting rules. And the only way that we can do that is one of us has to be in a public place. My car does not count, I found out. So I'm hoping.
Is it a big car? No.
Still wasn't gonna work.
Okay.
So what we've been asked to do by the organization is, since I'm the chair of the committee, they've asked each of the chairs to see if they can get permission from their hometown to be able to, my meetings coincide with yours, are the first and Thursdays of the month. Wardsboro was kind enough to host us this evening. We run from 5 to 6. I sincerely doubt, with the exception of TJ, anybody's going to show up. But I just need to fulfill that requirement for a 24-town organization. Nobody's driving from Guilford to come over here and hear what has to be said. The way I understand it is that they just need to be able to hear what is going on. The plan has been for me to be on a laptop on Zoom, and I would have a speaker to the side to make sure if anybody did physically show up. I will be out by 6:03 to give you plenty of time to set up for your meetings at 6:30. There should be a time conflict since it's the same day, and it's 2 hours a month.
We're actually moving back to the town office for our next meeting, so we will not be meeting here for the rest of the summer or in the foreseeable future.
That's even closer to my house, so I would be very happy to use the town offices if that worked.
The town offices could be, we do sometimes start at 6. I think we want to reserve that flexibility to be able to, if we need to have an earlier session. So this building is available. Can we put a time limit on how many, because this building might want to be used by a group of people, like to put on, to show a movie or to do something. And so to have it reserved for one person to sit with their laptop is a lot of space.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm open to any place in Dover that would fulfill my requirement.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be here. It just
I
has
see
to be
that there's
somewhere.
hands up. I was going to suggest maybe the library. Rich has got his hand up.
I was going to say it's the firehouse.
The firehouse, so. The down, ooh, not good.
Okay.
High speed?
Yeah.
Oh, so high speed, it goes so fast.
I'm open to anything that works for you.
Joe?
So does it have to be in Dover, or so is it going to be each time you have a meeting, the public, every town has to have a public place? Or
Right
just-
now, what we're doing is, because we have 3 committees, we have a veteran committee, a finance committee, and communications, each of the chairs is going to their own hometown.
Okay, got it.
Just to make
So
it
you're the chair,
somewhat
okay.
convenient, because everybody else is going to be on Zoom. And our governing board
Okay,
is
I
done
just-
through Wardborough.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I think the firehouse.
If
will
our
have-
fire chief is willing to allow you to have the meetings there, I think that that's a great solution because it doesn't take this big building off the table.
That's fine.
And that's closer to your house too, right?
Even closer.
Yeah, does that, and you, Sarah, better experts than I am, would that fulfill public meeting rules?
Yeah.
As long as it's warned where it's gonna be.
Okay.
So, glad Rich was here.
Okay, so, thank you, Rich, thank you, and if you're happy, are you happy with that solution?
I'm absolutely delighted.
All right,
Thank you.
very good, thank you.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. Hopefully we get something. I hope so.
It's coming. Okay, I think we are done now with new business, and now we're gonna move on to the Economic Development Department and the Trails and Rec Committee Moderator. I'm guessing that's Eric?
That would
Yeah.
be me. So basically, I'm just looking for a blessing from the select board to say that the Trails and Recreation Committee could place me as the moderator for those meetings. We're running into a situation with kind of a lack of knowledge as far as running the meeting, and it's costing us a lot of extra time and frustration. And I think if we can get that committee to agree to place me as the moderator, that we could kind of eliminate a lot of the problems we're having. All I need from you guys is your blessing to say, yes, I don't mind if the committee does that.
Sarah?
I spoke to a Roberts Rules specialist about this, and basically the committee or the select board votes to amend Roberts Rules to allow a non-committee member to serve as moderator. And if that's done, then Eric, subject to approval by the committee itself, would be able to be moderator.
Have you guys adopted Robert's Rules as your role, governing your meetings?
Yes, I didn't know that until Sarah explained it to me. We're following the same rules you guys follow for your select board meetings.
Okay, so I think that that's an easy thing. Ask for an amendment to the Robert's Rules, and I agree. I have watched several of the meetings. It's kind of a free-for-all, and I think that somebody who knows how to run a meeting would be helpful. Joe?
See how I raise my hand?
I noticed it.
Nice job, Joe.
I could see it in New York.
So I take it you would be at the meetings anyways, and in participating, this isn't taking away from other time within your position? Good shake of the head, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, he's there. So are you having a public portion of your meeting? Are you going to start meeting in public, in person?
It's a possibility. I think it got brought up at the last meeting. We may discuss it again at this meeting. I'm sure we'll be meeting in person shortly.
Okay. All right, so keep us posted on that.
I was just going to ask to make sure that's put as the first item on the agenda
Yeah.
for the next meeting, and then
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sarah, I'll touch base with you on exactly what that needs to say, and we'll make that happen. But I appreciate your guys' blessing on that.
Absolutely.
If
General
there are no
ED
other-
updates.
If there are no other questions on that, just some quick updates. I have a meeting this week with Fuss & O'Neill, Lamoureux and Dickinson, and Ross Guin from the state of Vermont to make sure that we're on track with the Valley Trail A- project, so I will keep you updated on that. We are currently in the process of finalizing the dates for the business plan competition. So once that's done, I'll have that application and guidelines in front of you guys for approval, and we can get that started. I will throw out there, we are still currently looking for a very catchy name for our business plan project, similar to a Make It on Main or something along those lines, like Wilmington had done. So if anybody has any crazy ideas in the middle of the night and remembers to write them down, be sure to let us know. Village Center, the state board met last Monday. Both village centers for Eastover and Westover were approved unanimously. which opens those spaces up to all of the state grants and funding and tax breaks that accompany being a village center. So, yay. And then last but not least, I am currently working with the president of Southern Vermont Trails, Steve Petrick, and I are working on a grant that could secure us a very large amount of funds to fund the projects in Horace Hill. More information coming on that very shortly. I also came across some additional grants that are match funds from the state to cover rehabilitation of historic buildings. So anything that we had planned for the town hall, i.e. the windows, the wheelchair ramp, anything we're doing in there, we can get up to $20,000 of that matched by the state of Vermont through this grant program.
Nice.
If we're interested.
I think we actually applied for one of those in the past and were denied, but the more you apply, their chances get better.
So this is actually this is a new program.
Oh, nice.
Coming down through it started federally and now it's at the state level, but there's a whole batch of grants that were COVID related and are coming out of this ARP deal. And this was one of those grants. So if we have a specific project in mind that we wanted to match those funds with, preferably one that would cost us $40,000 and we could get half of it paid for, I'd be happy to take care of that. I think the application for that is a little later in the year, but I just wanted to put it in front of you guys so you know it was available.
Well, we certainly do have the ramp and the windows for this building. So good. Way to keep up with those grants, because I know the money is kind of coming at everybody pretty fast. So thanks to you guys for staying on top of that. And thanks for the downtown designations. I know that was difficult. Yeah. Anything else? Economic development? Anybody?
Oh.
Yes.
I don't know if I didn't see it in the FYI. There's a concert. Oh, it's there. There's a concert on Wednesday. It's in the FYI.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Before we hit the consent agenda, Rich, I had a question, and now you're here. So we received our education tax rate, and it's up 11 cents. Does that include the penalty box money?
No, there's no penalty, it was done right.
So it was going to be worse. I know, I'm just saying that. It was going to be even worse than this.
Yeah. If we had decided to have a ballot vote in February, we would have been looking around $2.40 based on the information we had in December, January.
So this residential of 1.6931 is our residential rate. I think we're up our CLA is a little over 100, right, Linda? Yeah. So that will factor in.
Well, I think that is the rate.
With the CLA?
Yeah.
Okay. That's up 11 cents, so it was going to be up like 60.
That we lose 2 cents of every year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we've been using surplus money for years to buy down the rates, and we keep adding stuff. We added different transportation a few years ago, increased the rate we're paying for secondary education. So there's a lot of things we bought a kiln, that happened when it was just over, and we used up a lot of the surplus, and Wardsboro brought in quite a bit of surplus, and we used that the last couple of years because we spent almost 3 years trying to get the audit from the Sullivan House, whoever the auditors are. And we finally just got that. That helped us a lot too. That showed us there was a lot more surplus than we thought.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's getting harder and harder to.
I get it. I was hoping.
That there was some way to make it smaller.
It sounds like it would have been a lot worse. So I'm glad you showed up because I had that question. Thank you. No, it's to offer the firehouse to Diane's group of the communications group.
I can offer myself services as a moderator, but Eric, I wasn't sure of that.
Okay. The consent agenda, we need to approve the minutes of June 15th, 2021 and June 18th, 2021.
We're all the same people here?
Let's see, so June 15th, I was not here.
Okay.
And then June 18th, let's see, we were all here, at least for parts of the meeting.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 15th.
Second.
Anybody, any comments, corrections, changes? Sorry, I was slow on the uptake. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm abstaining because I was not at the meeting, even though I watched it.
Motion to approve the minutes of June 18th.
Second.
Second by Dan. Any changes? All in favor?
Aye.
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 We have FYI. We have a.
Oh, the warrants.
Oh, sorry, the warrants, sorry. Approve the warrants of June 28th, June 26th for $156,084.73.
So moved.
Any comments? Have you looked at them?
What?
The warrants?
I'm right now. Any comments? No.
No, I mean, the big surprise was a $10,000, almost $10,000 bill to fix a Mac. So, that wasn't exactly planned, but, and that was it's a 2018 Mac, so we fixed it. So,
What went wrong?
something about, it says on the bill, it was making strange noises and,
Right, I think it was a result of Dylan's accident back in February.
so is it allowable under insurance?
I think we,
Apple Care is only good for a year.
He thinks it's the computer.
no, this was Dylan's
Truck.
Okay, I'm sure Jeanette will investigate that. Did we have a motion and a second yet?
We have a motion, we don't have a second.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Now we're in a,
Wait, I recused myself because I didn't see them.
okay, so 3 and 1 recusal. We're moving to FYI. We have a letter from Deerfield Valley Community Cares, handwritten, saying, Dear Select Board, on behalf of the DVCC, I want to thank you for your generous contribution. As you know, the past year has been a challenging one for any charity to raise the funds necessary to meet our needs. Your grant of $1,000 will get us through the coming winter. Thank you again for your continued support. Sincerely, Sue Spangler. Very nice. Thank you. And then we have concerts coming up. Wednesday night is a split bill with Tom Carroll and Jill Sachs at 7. I thought they were. What time are they?
6.
It's
Tom's at 6.
6 to 8, correct. Sunday we have Wyld nights at 2 o'clock, and the following Sunday we have the Jacksonville Blues Band at 2 o'clock, all at the park. And I wasn't there this week, but the week before it was very well attended. And oh, there wasn't one. That's right.
Oh, 4th of July.
So, but the one with the Miles Band was well attended. It was a very popular event. We have a Trails and Rec Committee meeting on July 16th at 6:30.
July 13th.
13th, sorry.
That's okay.
Next Select Board meeting is July 20th at the Dover Town Office at 6:30. Everybody know where it is?
And we're still doing Zoom, though.
We're still
We'll have a
Zooming.
Zoom option.
But then we don't have to set this all up. It can stay set up. We can just come and go. It frees up this building, and we should be able to accommodate everybody who usually shows up live in the town office. So welcome back. Do we have any liaison reports?
No. Yes, no.
No? Hearing none? We do not need any executive session, so I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
At 7:10. Second by Dan.
Nice job.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you all.